Hello lovelies! Our quick and easy weeknight dinner series continues today with a dish that is honestly an absolute staple in my house. In fact, I make this dish at least once a week. It's this Korean-inspired beef and rice. It's got the perfect balance of sweet, savory, and tangy flavors, and it is so incredibly easy to make, which is why it is perfect for weeknight cooking. Not to mention the fact that my daughter Elle absolutely loves this dish, so it is one you are going to want to add to your repertoire, especially if you have kids. Very kid-friendly meal. So the first step, and quite honestly the most important, is going to be mixing up our sauce. And the key to getting a really flavorful Korean-inspired beef is creating a perfect balance of flavors, and that's what we're going to attempt to do here. To get started, in my bowl I have got some tamari sauce, which is basically just gluten-free soy sauce. I always opt for reduced sodium just because I like to keep our salt intake low, but you can also use regular sodium soy sauce. Basically whatever you have on hand will work just fine here. So this is nice and savory. I want to add some sweetness. I'm using agave syrup to do that, but honey will definitely work just as well in this recipe, or brown sugar is super classic, so either of those will do the trick. Next, I want to add a little acidity and some tang, and to achieve that, I'm going to be adding some rice vinegar. Then for just a touch of nuttiness, I'm going to be adding a little splash of toasted sesame oil. You've probably heard me say this before, but it bears mentioning again. Sesame oil is very strong in flavor, so it's one of those things where just a little bit goes a long way. So I use about a teaspoon or so, and that is usually plenty. Then we've got, of course, our classic ingredients, some minced garlic and some freshly grated ginger. Now, in my opinion, freshly grated ginger is really the way to go in this recipe to get the best flavor. But of course, I am also all about saving time in the kitchen. So if you have pre-grated ginger, that will definitely work in a pinch. Next, we are just going to give this a quick mix, and it's that simple. We're just whisking this all together, and then we'll set it aside while we get to work on cooking up our ground beef. I told you this was gonna be easy. Now that our sauce is prepared, the next step is going to be cooking up our beef. Now this dish is actually inspired by a traditional Korean dish called beef bulgogi. And usually that's made with shaved beef, but in this case I'm using some ground beef instead because it's a little easier to find and it's something that we all usually have either in our freezer or our refrigerator. In fact, I get asked a lot by you guys what to do with your ground beef, and this is a great way to switch things up. Now I've got a nice low skillet heating up here over medium-high heat, and I've added a little bit of oil to it. And just as soon as that oil is hot, I'm going to go ahead and get my beef right into the pan. And I'm just going to cook my beef, breaking it up with the side of my spoon until it's no longer pink. Now beef is really traditional in this recipe, but I've totally done this with ground chicken before or ground turkey. You could even use ground pork here. All of those will work. Or if you wanted to keep this vegetarian, tofu would be another great option, or even some mushrooms. Trust me when I tell you, this sauce is really the secret to goodness, and it's basically delicious on anything. Next, I'm going to go ahead and sneak some veggies in here with some matchstick carrots. I actually buy these in matchstick shape from my supermarket. You could, of course, julienne your carrots yourself, but buying them pre-chopped is really convenient. And I have to say, Elle really loves this shape, so I just go for it. And at the very same time, I'm also going to pour over that delicious sauce. Now, if it seems like a lot of sauce at first, not to worry. Basically, what we're going to do is let this cook away for 4 to 6 minutes until all of the liquid has evaporated, and what we're left with is just that amazing flavor. And after just a few minutes, you'll notice good things are happening in this skillet. The final step here is just to add some beautiful finely sliced green onion, just to freshen things up a little bit. And if you're anything like me and you like the heat, you can go ahead and stir in some red chilies here, or some sriracha or chili garlic sauce. Any type of heat will really do. What I like to do is just remove Elle's portion before I go ahead and add my chilies to the pan. That way, Greg and I can enjoy the nice spicy version and Elle can have the more mild version. Guys, this is just one of those dishes you have to taste to believe. I love piling it on top of some cooked rice and serving it up with some greens. This is just one of those dishes your family is going to adore. And as you saw, so easy to make. I hope you love it as much as I do and that you'll give it a try for yourselves. If you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo because you know how much I love seeing your kitchen creations. Remember, this recipe, like all of my recipes, is featured on healthymealplans.com, our amazing meal planning site that allows you to browse more than 1,000 recipes, drag and drop them into your weekly meal plan, and then automatically generates your grocery list for the week. What is not to love about that? Finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.